If you've never seen a true Gulf wahoo up close, it's hard to explain. Some of these fish are longer than I am tall, pure speed with a spine. They don't swim so much as cut through the water, like the ocean forgot to add friction. 1 second it's a shimmer at the edge of visibility, the next second it's gone. And today, on the second day of our commercial overnight, for just a moment, we cross paths with a monster. Join us in the chaos of shooting that fish on a reel gun and bringing it back to the dock.
Good morning. The sun has just risen on day 2. There it is. And it is flat calm, as you can see. We got Ben. Everybody's still on the boat. We're getting our stuff on, and we're going to go dive. I'll see you guys in the water.
Welcome back underwater, everybody. This is the second day of the 2-part series that part 1 was posted a few weeks ago. Big Cubera were shot in part 1. And in day 2, we really get surprised by this monster wahoo that I was talking about in the intro. But the day kind of started out slow. First dive, on my way down, wasn't actually the first dive of the day. We took a bunch of drops at the spot. But eventually somebody, I think it was Ben, shot an AP, and we were like, okay, so they're here. Let's pick up some before we start heading in shallower a little bit more. Here we're pretty deep. We're in like 120, 130 foot. But APs are around. I have seen the school now. I'm looking at them. They're coming in, kind of quartering to the right. I have to get down a little bit to get in range here. It's just this pair. Pull the trigger, and he kind of doesn't like take off. He kind of just starts swimming in circles under me, which is way more annoying because once I get to the surface, he fights like a dog. Just tangles everything up, makes my life such a mess because all the line is everywhere. It's getting all tangled. He's doing these death circles. You'll see in 1 second. I'm going to speed up the part where he actually starts kicking. But, I mean, when I hit the surface, he's only 50 feet below me. So I'm pulling all this line up, and he's just digging and making it really hard to land him. I'm pulling, and he starts doing these circles. And these circles get your gear so tangled. So that's the first part that was bad when it ran into the line that I already pulled up. But after that, it just keeps tangling it even worse. Right here, one of the ways to fix this is you keep swimming forward into the current. The problem is the boat and the current were moving in, not the boat and the current, sorry. The direction of the boat was in the opposite direction of the way the current was moving. So it would have been hard for me to do that, and so it ended up tangling everything. But at least I landed the fish. Here he is. Gotta gut him after I brain and bled him for commercial meat quality purposes. And then after that, this spot slowed down considerably, so we decided to head in shallower to a wreck. And we'll hop on the boat, make a run. Once we get to this wreck, like after the thermocline, once you pass probably 75, 80 feet, it got real green. The viz was definitely worse, noticeably worse, than the first spot. And we were hoping that there'd be more APs, so we kind of thugged it out. There was a big school of mangoes, which was nice. I mean, it wasn't huge. It was probably like 10 or 20 that were high and shootable in the column. And then the ones that stayed on the bottom would just flick into the structure once you got down there. But this school was pretty, you could snipe at them. So I lined up on this one right here. And you can kind of tell I'm not super feeling it. I end up coming back up. I wasn't even on the structure here. You can see the structure's back kind of further behind me. I'm grunting here, trying to call in a different mango. but this dive, it doesn't really happen. There's a nice almaco there. If it wasn't a commercial trip, I would have smoked that thing, because almacos taste real good. They just don't sell commercially. On the way up here, and on the way up, Josh shot a mutton, which is kind of nice. Gulf muttons are much less rare when you're deep and offshore, but they are not super common for the Gulf. So take another dive here. And this dive is actually a completely different wreck, but you can kind of tell that it's different because of the clarity, and the AJs are much higher here. But of course, we'd already shot all 7 of our AJs. So what are you going to do? As soon as the season closes, or as soon as you get your limit of a particular species, then they become super easy. They're super high in the column. They're everywhere. They're big. And we're just like, well, we already have our 7, so it doesn't matter. Get down here, and this wreck is bigger and a little bit shallower. So I get to be right on top of the wreck, and this AP just comes right up to me. Able to blast him. He had one buddy behind him. And I just head straight for the surface. This one took off. The other one didn't really. And the best thing to do when you have a lot of line to recover with these fish is don't let them take any more. So lock your reel down and just use yourself as a float. You'll see that I do that when I get to the surface. I'm going to kind of speed up my fighting this fish when I get to the surface, because you all don't want to sit here for an extra 5 minutes of me just pulling on line. Pulling this guy in, using my fins to kick up to really fight him, and eventually I'm able to bring him in here. The AJ just following it up, begging to be shot. Fish freaks out when it gets to the surface, but we got him. Not a bad little AP. Same thing, got a brain bleed, got him. Am I gonna find the brain? There we go. There's a sweet spot for sure behind the eye. Then you just throw him in the back of the boat, and of course I'm gonna miss another mango. Silly me. Alright, so we went back out to better viz, thank God. And this time the spot is deeper. So you'll notice I get down to kind of the zone for where these mangoes like to hang out, where on the other spot you could make out the wreck, you can make out the bottom, all that stuff. This spot you can't do that. Where I'm hunting these mangoes, you can barely make out bottom. Looking at these mangoes, they're eating some guts here, which is kind of nice. It makes it a little bit easier. Josh shot an AP, and I'm able to line up on this guy right here and ventilate him. You can tell I really blasted him hard, because there's all the bubbles from hitting him and just rupturing his swim bladder and stringing him with a pretty thick shaft, like an 8.5. No, 8 mil. It might be an 8.5. I don't know. Comment below if you know if the Cap 130 takes an 8 or an 8.5 mil shaft. I don't remember.
The mangrove molester is back. Boom! It's these little mangrove juveniles.
Okay, so I shoot this mango and he just tangles all my gear, and he's only like a 2.5, 3 pound fish, not worth tangling all the gear. So Josh untangles it for me on the boat, thank God. Hands me this other gun, and then I ask him to just hand me his gun. So I've got his gun with the float and the orca. Josh shoots other Josh, Dauntless Outdoors Josh, shoots an AP. So I've got the float and the orca sitting in the water, and then this happens. Giant wahoo comes in. Ben and I both throw flashers, but Ben's closer to the fish, so I just turn my camera on and film. And you can see right here when I take my duck dive, just this perfect textbook shot. This thing takes off. Ben starts calling for the float.
I got the float. I got it right here.
I happen to have the float with me, just on the gun because that's what Ollie was running, or Josh was running. And that shark didn't really bother us. But watch this float take off as soon as Ben's reel gets dumped. Gone. And then I hopped back in the boat and we took it around. Josh put a second shot in this big fish. And I mean, this wahoo was big. It was like 85 pounds, I think it went. I don't remember, but it was a monster Gulf wahoo. Was it 88? I don't know, but look, it's bigger than me, longer than me. Ben is really tall, so he's able to hold it and still be taller than it barely, but it is a really, really big fish. It's one of those fish where you get next to it and you're like, wow, that's a wahoo. It's tall, it was fat, really cool to see. And they're pretty much always like that in the Gulf, where when they're big, they're just solo. Just single fish around. You can see the size of its head compared to Ben's hand. The size of its head compared to his head. It's just a really, really nice big fish. And after shooting a fish like this, we kind of all collectively started to head in, end the day a little bit early. So we get in and start to dive some inshore stuff. And that means I get to break out the little gun, and that also means the viz gets even worse than it was before. So I'm loading the gun here, I'm gonna hop in, and the viz is so bad. We try our best here. You'll see what I mean. Hop in. On the surface it's not like terrible, but then we start to get down. I'll take my little duck dive here. Getting down here. And Josh is in with me. And so we are both going down at the same time. And the viz is pretty gnarly. So we're tandem diving, but we get so close right here that I look over and I just make eye contact with him on the way down, and I almost laugh. And we're making eye contact here, and I have to try not to laugh. And this time I succeeded in not laughing. You see how the GoPro just kind of adjusted the color so that it would look blue? It was not blue, it was green. And the bottom was, there were no fish. So then we tried diving this thing for cobia. And it also was fishless. Diving down, viz is not good. Josh is like 10 feet in front of me and he's disappearing already. Tons of bait on it though. I get down here though, and when I get down, I see Josh just lining up on something on the beam, or on the anchor point for the buoy, and I'm wondering what it is he's lining up on, because, and you'll see there's nothing on this thing, nothing here, but look, he's lining up, and then he just blasts the smallest lizardfish I've ever seen. And then I have to laugh. And as soon as I started laughing, I started losing air, and I had to just shoot straight up to the surface because it was like, oh, shoot. And I ended up being fine. But don't laugh underwater. You might black out.
I literally, all my air gone. I saw you line up on it, and I was like, what the f is he doing? I literally, all I did, I just watched it just roll over.
Yep, he shot it was literally like a 2-inch, 3-inch lizardfish. It was pretty funny. Anyway, heading back down here, we're on a ledge now, and hoping that this ledge is better. I mean, the viz isn't going to be better, but, I mean, it had some mangoes in it, so I grab a mango here. And after this, we kind of just give up on the inshore stuff and head all the way in. And I don't have any pictures or videos of, all the fish together on the dock, But I do have the pictures with the big cabera, as well as we printed it this day. So we printed it and filleted it at my house. I was able to keep that one. So I'll be showing you guys that after this as well. But I get down here, I'm off the ledge because I couldn't see anything. And then I start seeing the mangoes and find the ledge by just following the fish to it. And I'm able to kind of get this sneaky little like shooting from the hip style gunslinger snipe shot on a mango that just flicks right across my face. And I'm just like, oh, grab that thing. Here's the good part of the ledge. The mangoes are kind of moving in and out of it. And one of them is gonna make a mistake. Boom. You can see I kind of just like, whoop, just whipped the gun around and shot it. That's my last fish of the day for a really awesome 2 days of commercial spearfishing. And now you're gonna get to watch us bring home, print, and fillet the big cabera from the last video, which I will also have linked in the description and as a card as well. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. My little arms can't hold this thing up for more than 2 seconds.
But he doesn't know how to back up.
Josh, I wonder if you could get the bow to go on top of the van. Look at how comically large this fish is compared to mine. Okay, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna get the cheek meat out first.
Step on it.
It's like literally just this little. Because this is such a big fish, we didn't want to waste too much, so we're breaking the rest of this down, all the bony parts, to bake, to put in the food for our 3 dogs and our 2 cats. So not a single ounce of this is going to waste.